All right, Panther fans, hockey fans. Stu made the humble pie, but we've put it in the freezer for now because we're not so sure when we're going to have to eat that sucker. Because Tampa and 6 is still alive, and the only thing I'll say, I said it at some point during recap yesterday. The Rangers had a 2-0 series lead, and they had the lead in game 3, just like Colorado. And as soon as the Rangers had that lead in game 3, Tampa flipped the switch and never looked back. And as soon as Colorado had the lead last night in game 3, you've seen what happens. I've been trying to say, don't count Tampa out. And that was the complete opposite of what we saw the other night. Stu, how you doing? Yeah.
That offside goal taken away saved Tampa's season, changed the momentum, the crowd, everything just flipped like a switch.
Yep.
I mean, it was very close.
It was close. It was offside.
And the linesman, you watch the replay, the linesman is right there on top of it.
Yeah.
And he waves it off like it's a good.
Yeah.
And that, I guess the announcers said they didn't want to blow it dead and then find out that it was onside and it cost them a goal. So they let it play out. That's what they said.
Right.
But obviously, as soon as that happened, you could see they started hitting and
and even though
another and then,
even though
they
Colorado
woke up. Basically Tampa woke up. And then Vasilevsky made a couple of, I think not more than a couple of really good saves where he stretched out in one of those groin pulls for anybody else but him.
It hurts me just thinking about it the next morning. I mean, because he can be stretched out to the left one way and push off and stretch out to the right the other way. And he made at least 2 saves doing that last night.
Yeah.
Which that is special, man. That is special. But
what blew me away was Nick Paul getting hurt.
Yeah.
He looks like he's done. In fact, you texted me.
Yep.
Done. And he comes back and opens up the period and scores.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, Stamkos scored. I mean, wow. What a turnaround.
I know.
And we got a series now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I haven't normally have a chance to look at the comments and the recap from last night. But I didn't today. So I'm not quite sure where the Avalanche fans are, where their head is at right now. The second biggest thing is the pulling of Kemper. And we you and I texted about that. We were both kind of surprised on that. I did not get any sense last night like that was his fault. And me personally, just the way it felt and seeing how Colorado reacted, I don't know. It just felt like that was a bad move. Like it gave Tampa Bay more momentum.
Well, it's usually to spur the team that's getting scored on.
Right.
It's usually a motivating factor for them. Like, we caused our goalie to get pulled.
Right.
But they did it, and I think, Francois played decent.
Right.
They only let in 1 goal.
Right. It's just an odd space to do it when you're up 2-0. I mean, okay, so your goalie's not having the best tonight. You're going to lose this game. All right, but you roll with them, let the team sort it out, and then you come back the next day. It's a little bit different with Vasilevsky the other day when they left him in. Number one, Vasilevsky said he wanted to stay in. And number two, there's no viable backup. There's no goalie controversy that's going to happen if you took him out. This is different because, immediately the announcers are like, well, at the end of the game, well, you can't go back to Kemper. You got to stay with Francois. And it's just like, yikes, man. It's you're up 2-0. I think it was a panic move. If that had been the Panthers, right? If that had been the Panthers and we're up 2-0, and Bob's having a night, and you yank him like that, and Knight comes in, and now you got a goalie controversy. It just causes more problems, I think, unless the coach is just going to definitely go back to Kemper, but now you got people, you got all this discussion about it. So, but past that, Tampa's stars woke up. That is for sure. Kucherov was just absolutely flying off. So was McKinnon too. Both of those guys were flying around, but Stamkos really played a hell of a game last night. And like you said about Paul, I mean, he's on the bench in between. They're showing him, and he's on the bench jumping around and stretching. He was going to the tunnel each time to go stretch out and everything. So who knows if he's going to be available? But somebody
he went off towards the end of the game. Kucherov's hurt too. That's a big blow if he's he's out. But I thought Corey Perry played a good, spirited game. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So let's discuss why they look so bad in the first 2 games. And,
right.
We said that the altitude was going to have an effect.
Well,
and I think that was definitely a factor.
There's another factor I thought about last night that we kind of didn't give any thought to, because Tampa's rest, when they had the rest before the Rangers series, they obviously came out of sync, out of sorts. But as the series went on, it became obvious that they had more legs than the Rangers did because of that rest. Now, maybe the opposite thing here happened with Colorado. I mean, some people are saying it could be the altitude, and then people saying, So, but Colorado had all that rest, and their game is speed, right? So maybe the first couple of games, they just had more legs than Tampa, because Tampa had only had the few days off, and Colorado had all those days off to rest. And it just played out a little bit differently now, where, they're in the series. Now everybody's legs are kind of evened out a little bit. And I mean, because it wasn't like Tampa played that. It wasn't like they suddenly said, okay, we're going to clog up the neutral zone and not let Colorado into the zone at all. They played Colorado's game. They said, all right, you want to play back and forth? Let's play back and forth. And there were multiple times last night when I think I said that they used the Colorado speed against them. Colorado would overcommit. They were overcommitting to certain things that were happening, and then Tampa was getting guys free. So, I think Tampa took it personal. I think they took the 7-0. I think everybody's saying, "Oh, Colorado's so fast, so fast, so fast." I think they took it personal and wanted to make a point that, hey, we're not exactly slow out here either.
Yeah, well, Tampa didn't look good at the beginning of the game. So again, it's only after that offside, that goal was taken away that they woke up, and then they played like Tampa.
Yeah.
The best goal was the Palat goal.
Yeah.
Kucherov to Stamkos to Palat, boom,
right.
in the net. I mean, it was beautiful give and go.
Right.
And Tampa, if you noticed, all the way through the end of the game, they wanted to rack that score up, because that's what Colorado did
right
the other night. And players take that personal.
Yeah.
When you're up 3 goals, 4 goals, whatever, and you want to just keep racking it up, that's
right.
like a slap in the face. And if you noticed, there we go again with those scrums and and the punches.
Yeah.
Who did I say should have gotten an extra 2?
Oh, it was I remember.
Oh, Cogliano on Colorado.
Yeah. He got away with a free punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a guy with 2 broken fingers on his right hand, so he did it with his left hand.
Using his left.
Stupid.
Right.
So now we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously Tampa wins game 4 and it's tied, and we go back and it's a best of 3.
The thing,
eventually Tampa's got to win one in Colorado.
Right. They've got to win one in Colorado.
So
The thing about it is that, I mean, the momentum shift is just, I mean, it was a paper thin razor's edge away from being lights out for Tampa. And now the momentum is all the way back in their favor. Because I guarantee you, they are Colorado fans. I know you're not the Rangers. I'm not saying you're the Rangers, but I guarantee you right now, every Tampa Bay player and coach is going, we just did this to the Rangers. We can do it again.
yeah,
You know, they won 2 cups in a row, and Colorado still hasn't, you know, they sometimes you have the best team and it doesn't always turn out that way. And I'm not saying Tampa's going to come back and win, but I guarantee you they think they can come back and win. And that's what matters more. That matters a hell of a lot more than what we think.
I don't like the way Vasilevsky's playing. I mean, granted, he made some good saves, but he's getting beat on shots that he would normally stop. So,
A couple
and
of,
again, if you notice, high blocker.
yeah, placement.
Almost every goal, high blocker.
Somebody talked about that. It was one of the announcers talking about how they heard that what the Colorado coaches watched just hours and hours and hours of film and found these couple of spots. Now, it's one thing to say we know we can beat them high blocker. It's another thing to have the shot placement, you know, to do it. Because let's face it, 90% of these shots are I'm shooting the puck. I really kind of have an idea of where it's going, but the idea that you can just perfectly place it, the net's not that big, people. It looks big on TV, but when you get into, you know, when you're on the ice, you're like, how the hell does the puck ever get in there with the size of the goalies? There's not a lot of room. These guys,
but these players are so good.
Right. I mean, they're shooting for inches. That's not feet of space. They're shooting for inches. So
yeah. And how many times and how many videos have we made where I go like this?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that little 6x6 square.
Right.
And they hit it.
Yeah.
That's how good these guys are.
The camera
what blows my mind?
What's that?
McKinnon doesn't have a goal.
That's true.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
I know Landeskog has scored.
McKinnon.
I mean, McKinnon's got to have a ton of assists.
I don't think McKinnon's got. I think I read it this morning that he doesn't have a goal yet.
He must have a ton
but
of assists.
He's still fantastic. The way the energy that he brings.
Yeah.
When he's bringing that puck in the zone and on the power play.
Yeah.
They just move that thing really fast.
Yeah. Well,
really fast.
And you know, like I said, with the power play, with Braden Point sat. So I believe that was Perry that they put back in. I mean, the Tampa power play looks not like it did. You have to understand when we're Panther fans, so when we say the Tampa power play doesn't look like itself, that's because against the Panthers, it looked like you could just never be stopped ever. So for our eyes, like anything less than ridiculously elite, it was like it doesn't look the same. So we're a little bit biased that way because for whatever reason, the Panthers can never stop the Tampa Bay power play. We're shell shocked that way. I think, you know, what you saw last night, and I mean, these are 2 well-coached teams, but I think again, you saw it. I mean, Cooper, this guy, when he's done, you know, I did some research because I kind of wanted to look at Cooper and see could he end up if he stuck with Tampa, could he end up like with the, you know, bypassing everybody and being the winningest coach ever? And I looked at it and I wanted to do the video from the point of view that he could, but then I looked at like the average number of wins he'd need and how many he'd have to coach 20 more years. Like he's like 74 years old, even at the pace he's been coaching. So it just goes to show you some of these other coaches, how long they've been doing it and then the success that they've had. But I mean, the dude is just flat out, to me, the best coach in the league. I mean, I don't see any way around that. I mean, he just consistently can reinvent and remorph his team to suit what needs to happen against whatever opponent. And I mean, they struggled against Toronto and figured it out. They already knew what to do against Florida, son of a bitch. And then they struggled against the Rangers and figured that out. And it's kind of getting the feeling like, here we go again, because that wasn't close last night. So Colorado was all sorts of frustrated.
Yeah, it's only one game. But if you noticed, and they did touch upon it, they showed a high up angle of the Tampa setup where they're they're what are you calling it? Clogging up the neutral zone,
right?
Clogging up around the blue line.
Yeah.
That Tampa wall that I call it.
Right.
That's what they did. That's what they did in the after they woke up.
Yeah. Right.
They weren't letting Colorado get in there and set up. And
right.
It's only one game, so obviously we take it one game at a time, and we'll see what happens. When's the next game? Tomorrow?
Right. Yeah, tomorrow. We're back to every other night, which is much better for everybody.
Again, Vasilevsky has to be sharper.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
look,
all. He made some great saves, but he's got to be sharper.
He's given up a lot of bigger rebounds than I normally see him make. He doesn't look comfortable. But again, look, I mean, somebody said it in the comments of the other video. It's like he doesn't look comfortable because he doesn't know where the shots are coming from. And some of that might be true. Some of that might be true. I mean, you play Florida, you play the Rangers, you kind of know where the shots are coming from, and their shot placement is not anything like Colorado. Colorado obviously has numerous guys that they must work on that a lot. I'd be curious, they must work on shot placement a lot at practice because they've got it down. And yeah, no, it's only one game, but with this next game being in Tampa, you'd have to have a hard time selling me we're not going back to Colorado tied 2-2.
The only thing that worries me, but the big factor is Kucherov going to be able to go? And even if he's going to be able to go, he's going to go hurt. Now, we know from past experience that he likes to embellish his injuries a little bit.
I mean, what was the score when he decided to leave the ice?
Game was over.
Right.
That's beside the point. I didn't really see where he got hurt. You know what I mean? He fell awkward. You said, we were texting and you said he fell awkward.
Yeah.
But it's a leg or whatever, but who knows? They said it might have been a groin pull. Who knows? But that's going to be big. If he can't play, obviously they're out. They don't have point in there.
Right.
But everything goes through Kucherov.
Yeah.
So they've proven they could win without point, but I don't know if they can win without Kucherov.
I would be beyond shocked if he wasn't dressed for that game, especially with point out. I mean, and even, you never know if Point comes back. He obviously is not himself. He obviously, if it was a regular season, wouldn't be playing, and he didn't even play the rest of the playoffs. So, the dude was still hurt. Whatever he did, for all we know, he may need surgery and was hoping that he could heal up enough to gut it out in the finals. But I guess the last thing is that, you're served, Colorado, because, and I get it, but they were already, and we were ready to eat the humble pie. I had plenty of, I told you so's in the comments. And I said, I'm stubborn. I said, not yet. I've seen Tampa. Tampa lives in my nightmares. All right. all season long. And I'm not saying I'm saying when people would say, I want a rematch against Tampa in the playoffs, I'm not interested because it's just, and I know you don't like the football analogies, but I'm scarred every freaking year. The Dolphins and Bills, it didn't matter what we did. We could not beat the Bills. We couldn't stop their offense. We couldn't stop Thurman Thomas. Same way the Panthers can't stop the freaking Tampa Bay power play. Same thing. So it's just like that's how I am for the Avalanche fans. I'm like, don't buy this. Don't buy what they're selling, man. This is Tampa's new thing now, is give the other team hope, and then not so much, So that's all I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's really not much more to say. Obviously, Tampa's got to bring it, but from the opening whistle, quick start.
Right.
That's another. I expected more last night. To be honest with you, I didn't see it at the beginning of the game.
No, it took
and that was surprising to me.
I mean,
but
they had the goal called back, and then even though Colorado did score after that, the momentum had shifted in Tampa. You at that point when you saw that goal get called back, you kind of like, all right, Tampa just got. Well, I texted you, it was like they just got another last gasp.
Yeah,
and even though Colorado scored, it just felt differently after that. And to full disclosure, I should say this for Avalanche fans. I've been on record for a long time. I don't like that. I don't care if it goes for my team, against my team, and I know it's the rule. I don't like we're going to rewind the tape all the way back, and it was a fingernail offside, so everything that happened after that doesn't count. Not a fan. I don't know how you could fix it. I don't know if it needs to be fixed, but I guess the point I'm making is I'm not reveling in the fact that got called back that way, because I don't like it. I wish there was another way we could handle it when it was that bang of a play. I mean, offsides is offsides. I get it.
Yeah.
But a lot of these calls were only getting made because of the technology we had. They had to take a picture of it and blow it up, and I could just, it just makes me, I find it amusing. There's all these hundreds of millions of dollars worth of entertainment value and all of these awards and prizes, and it's being decided with some guy with an editing software and a loop with a laptop trying to see if the puck was offsides or not. It's just the human element at some point has to come into play, but that's just my age speaking. Right.
Offsides is offsides.
I know. I'm just, it's funny. I was watching yesterday a video came up. This is football, but it's relevant. It was like the greatest comebacks of all time or whatever. And there was this one pass from Roger Staubach to the Dallas Cowboy receiver. I forget who it was. And he catches the ball in the end zone. And as he's falling, he drops the ball and then he picks it back up. Now I'm watching this as it's one of the greatest comebacks ever. But in today's NFL, it's an incomplete pass because of the rule change. So it just made me think, it's like, how many of the greatest plays, like comebacks in hockey and cup win, how many of those could we rewind the play to find, oh, that was a hand pass. Oh, that was offsides. Oh shit, that would be different now than with the new rules. It just, that, I guess that's kind of how I look at it, because when I watch football now, it's like what was a great play for us growing up is now a 15-yard penalty. So
but listen, you still have the human element. You still have the referees making bad calls.
Oh, sure.
I mean, how many times has the goal been scored where, either just in the last series, it doesn't matter whether it was, I think it happened to both teams, but when a player knocks the stick out of a defenseman's hands, and then, the other player goes in and scores or something like that, or a holding,
right,
or kicking the puck in.
Well, yeah, like I was going to say,
that's a big one for me. Was the puck kicked in? Was it forward momentum trying to stop so you don't slam into the net?
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. The thing is, it wasn't a 3-2 win; it was a 6-2 win. So, if it was, one of those game-deciding goals,
it's tough.
Then it's more of an argument.
Right.
It happened, pretty much early on in the game.
Right.
So, it wasn't like it happened with, a minute and 30 seconds left in the game. You follow me?
Right. Yep. Yeah. I get it.
Anyway, it's going to be,
we have a series.
we'll just see what happens. For me now, I think if I'm Colorado, I go with Francouz. I give him a shot.
Oh boy.
That's me. Other people might say go back to Kemper. And it's not that Kemper looked awful last night.
That's what I mean.
It's not like he, let in a lot of soft goals. He did get beat with a few, but
I think going I think you got to go back to Kemper because I think you're going to need him. I don't think you're going to I just think you got to go back to Kemper.
Okay.
Because if you go with Francouz and we've lived this. We've lived this as Panther fans with Bobrovsky, then Drieger, then Knight. If you pull the one guy and you don't put him back in and you go with the second guy and then the second guy falters, now you're going to go back to the guy whose confidence is kind of already shaky because you didn't go back to him. I mean, it was different with us because we literally went through 3 goalies in 4 games? Did it take us 3 goalies in 4 games? Jesus. And then people wonder why Panther fans are triggered. Right?
Yeah.
So,
all right, listen, I
just think, I don't know.
I see your point.
Yeah.
And for me, like I said, I thought, Francouz coming in, Tampa was still bringing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's a good point. Yep. And he did play well the other series. So
listen, that game, this game 4 is going to be won and lost with the penalties.
Right. Yeah.
Because both teams have great power plays.
And health. So, Tampa needs somebody to be healthy.
Yeah. So we'll see who wins that battle.
Yep.
Of least penalties.
Yeah, I agree.
And a lot of these penalties just have been stupid penalties.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You can get, you can take a penalty if a guy's coming in and, he's having a breakaway and you hook him down or trip him or whatever. But, some of these cross-checking, hooking, holding the stick, these guys do it all the time. But, in crucial games like this, it's going to get called.
Right.
No, you can't afford to do stupid stuff like that. And of course, these roughing penalties and these, and these scrums.
Right.
So anyway.
Yep. All right. We appreciate all the support. Thank you for all the new subscribers. It's been really, really good. Had another burst here in the last couple of days. I'm sure I'll be back with something later on today. And then tomorrow we got hockey again. So the live stream is 1 hour before the game.
We got the awards tonight, by the way.
Are the awards tonight? That's so weird. Incident
7 o'clock. So you might want to think about doing something for that.
Okay. Thank you for
after.
I just assumed it was after the finals were over.
No, I think it's tonight.
I know I saw a commercial for it, but I wasn't even paying attention to the date because I just assumed it would be after the finals were over. But they handed out some of the other awards during the playoffs. So I guess, well, if we got the awards show tonight, then yeah, I'll look at that.
Tuesday, 7 o'clock, ESPN.
Okay. Now, and because Kyle was asking me last night, because I know they've awarded some of them. Did they give out GM of the year? Because I know we heard Brunette didn't win coach. But
Lady Bain, Kyle Connor, Winnipeg. King Clancy, PK Subban, Jennings, Antti Ranta, and Frederick Anderson. Bill Masterson was Carey Price. And then the Selke was Bergeron.
Right.
And Barkov finished 3rd.
Yeah.
Jack Adams was Sutter. The Rocket Richard Award, Austin Matthews. The Messier Leadership was Kopitar. Art Ross was Connor McDavid. Willie O'Ree, Noel Acton. The Hart Trophy was, so they haven't given that away yet.
Right.
Matthews, Shesterkin, and McDavid.
For the Vezina.
Calder is Sider, Bunting, and Zegras. The Norris is Hedman, Yossi, and McCarr. McCarr wins that.
Yeah.
And then the Vezina is Shesterkin, Markstrom, and Soros. Vasilevsky wasn't even in the top.
Vasilevsky's not even in the wow.
Oh. And then the Ted Lindsay Award is Matthews, Roman Yossi, and Connor McDavid. Is the Lindsay Award the one? What's that award? Is that the one that's voted by the players?
I'm not sure.
Or is that the Messier Award?
I think it's the Messier. So what about GM of the year? Are they doing that? Because that's the one. Because Kyle was asking me if there are any Panthers are up or anything left. I'm like, the only thing left that we have a chance at is GM of the year with Bill Zito, which would have looked better had we, not got swept. But I hadn't heard anything, and because I knew some of them they hadn't announced yet.
Okay, so the Ted Lindsay Award is the one voted by their peers.
Okay.
And then maybe Bing. Jack Adams was the coach. King Clancy. Oh, I don't know what that is. I don't know. It ends. So
right. We'll find out. I'll look it up. That was the only. I just assumed it was after, not in the middle.
You would think Zito's going to win it, but never.
We thought that last year, right? Then they gave it to Lou Lamoriello for the second year in a row, who apparently built such a fantastic team that they had to fire one of the best coaches in the league immediately after. That makes a lot of sense. Don't get me started.
Anyway, have a good day, everybody. Hit the like button. Please hit subscribe. Let's grow this channel.
All right, guys. We appreciate it. We'll see you again. I'll see you again later, and we'll see you again tomorrow.